Circumstances navigate the path, and like I've been ocean fast. No, not lonely. Sometimes you see, I know we connected. Even when I'm off beat, I still land on my feet, and nothing can shake me, cause I know my time. This is where I am destined to be. I'm not ready to live. I've been given the miracle of life. Life's a great for no rehearsal. Make it big, they'll come for yo-yo. Games to play, can't take it comes no. Cause the devil is a liar. Tell you the truth. It's only what you do. Some things you gotta do. Much respect, much is given. When you make the living, now I'm giving back to shooting. Never let the power come first before your happiness. Yes, you can be the best if you go the distance. Mix a little sweat, your persistence. You know that the best things are never instant. Just shine and make it break. Get up, open up your eyes now. It's the moment of truth. Don't let me down. For the children, it's a given. You gotta give it, be a blessing.
This my personal statement. Run the game like I'm aces. Learning, develop, patience, determined to be the greatest. Yeah, bobbing and weaving, they change to the light seasons. Indigenous to the grind, so I do it for all my people. Tapping the competition, rapping for this is hope. She fighting for recognition. I'm fighting just to promote equality where we lack it. Our parents are slow on our road. I'm confident we'll make it. Focus on common goals. Yeah.
Give back, give love, give things. Never give up, stand tall to fight another day. 2 toes, 2 feet, I stand on. I'm going back soon and fight this final fight. Life's a great for no person. Snow, cause the devil is alive. It's only what you do. Things you gotta do. I'm gonna share what I have. Yes, it goes in me. So we're gonna win this battle, fight that disease. Come on, let's go.
Hey, welcome to the show, y'all. I truly appreciate y'all coming in here tonight. Man, this is gonna be another rockin' soccer show tonight, man. Young Foe, Demetrius, JP, JQ, what's up? Regency Bias.
Oh man, I got all these windows open. Hey, what's up, y'all? I totally appreciate y'all coming in here, man. Hey, what's up, Miss B? JP, Edward JQ, what's up, Keno, Big Homie Coop, Supreme Tax, Nathan. I don't know why this song wasn't playing, but we're gonna figure it out. Okay, I didn't hit play. Or maybe it did play. I don't know. But anyways, man, love is the word. Appreciate you. And why did I even play the song, man? Let me play this trailer. Let's play this trailer. Trailer on 3.
You're watching America This Morning, America's #1 early morning.
Time after time after time. time, we are watching murderers go free. They hide behind their badges, they hide behind their white privilege, and they use the excuse that they feared for their lives to murder our young people in cold blood.
It's done.
X, my brother.
No, don't think about it.
All you self-righteous assholes do is march and destroy your own communities. Killing me won't change a goddamn thing.
It's a lot different when it's a grown black man standing his ground.
What's up, y'all? I totally appreciate y'all coming in here, man. Thank you guys so much. So I'm pretty sure you guys have been entertained by Rollie, right? Rollie and Tank. I haven't watched them all, but I'm pretty sure y'all have watched it, so y'all can fill me in. I saw a how you say it, a video, but I didn't listen to the words they were saying. It just said so many curse words. So I didn't get a chance to watch it, man. But I totally appreciate you coming in, man. Man, and I'm just checking in, and I'm pretty sure we'll follow. And I saw this clip on Instagram that was pretty. Let me play it for y'all. I saw it on Instagram, and it kind of confirmed without the statistic that was tossing around, and I actually think it's on the man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think men got to hold up their end of the bargain. And I saw that clip of the
are hated by married people.
Let me share it. I saw a clip with that man with
only 27%
the clip
of
with the man
African-American households are headed by married people, and this is according to the U.S. Census Bureau in 2015. All right, and so you kind of got to ask yourself this. It says the majority of black babies are being born, 72% are being born to unmarried mothers. Now, between 1890 and 1960, I want to say this again, between 1890 and 1960s, the marriage rate was 80%, which was actually higher, which was a higher percentage than all of white America. And so look at the time period between 1890 and 1960. That means that through Jim Crow, we were married. Through the Great Depression, we were married.
70 years.
Think about it. Yeah, we were married through Jim Crow. We were married through the Great Depression. We were married. Only 27% of African American households are headed by married people. And this is according to the U.S. Census Bureau in 2015. All right. And so you kind of got to ask yourself this. It says the majority of black babies are being born, 72% are being born to unmarried mothers. Now, between 1890 and 1960, I want to say this again, between 1890 and 1960s, the marriage rate was 80%, which was actually higher, which was a higher percentage than all of white America. And so look at the time period between 1890 and 1960. That means that through Jim Crow, we were married. Through the Great Depression, we were married.
70 years.
Think about it. Yeah, we were married through Jim Crow. We were married through the Great Depression. we were married. Only 27% of African American households
Oh, there we go.
are headed by married people. And this is according.
And I heard that clip and I was like, where did we go wrong? What's up, KP? Where did we go wrong? And I know it's, it's something we can't get the complete answer in 2 hours, but I was just saying, like, Black people were together, married more than white people. And we tapped into Jackie Robinson last night. And I'm thinking, we integrated and we wanted to be like white people. We integrated and they convinced the women to be in the workforce. We integrated, they convinced the man, the Black man, to compete with the white man. That we integrated, we were happy with being a part of what they had and being disrespected the most, like in the schools, obviously, civilly, judicially, criminally, education-wise, economically, and we just fell in love.
27% of African American households.
And we just fell in love with just being a part of what they have created. I don't know the answer, but I know what I see on the internet. And the internet is like a microcosm of the United States that we live in. And these hashtags, man, and these groups, and I think like for example, they have men, what's it like? Get the bag, the real nigga. They got the woman that has Black Girl Magic, Miss Independent, that Neo song. And honestly, that has literally separated the man from the woman. And now the man and the woman is so competitive now. My gosh, God damn. Like the first comment I saw in here, let me post it. This is the first comment of the show. Here we go again. 9 times out of 10, it's not the mom leaving the home, but somehow this will be the fault of the Black woman as usual. I'm like, we can't even begin to have the conversation without people getting, without a woman or a man getting defensive. This is appalling. This is appalling that when we know the truth, when we know the statistics, when we can literally see the results in our society, we can honestly, I don't know, but I can make a great hypothesis when I'm around people. When I'm around people, I can be like, he doesn't have a father. She doesn't have a father. You understand? It's appalling, man. Man, it really is that we can't even begin the conversation without pointing fingers. I don't want to point fingers. I'll be honest. I don't. I really, really don't want to point fingers. I wish I could find the solution, and then pow, we have the solution, and then it's up to you to abide by the solution. But I was like, damn, we can't even sit down with women and have this conversation. You know what I'm saying? It's like unbelievable. It's your fault. No, it's my fault. It's an our problem. It's an our problem because your son or daughter has to go get married. So when you're celebrating, haha, I did it, you didn't, shit. You know what I mean? And it's, you know what I mean? But I think there's a section of it that people say, and people say this. Oh, the white man did it to us. The white man gave us drugs. The white man gave us crack. All that may be true, right? Now, I'm not going to put no but in there. I'm just going to add to it. I didn't say but. I said, and we have discernment, free will, a relationship with God, and the ability to know right from wrong from previous experiences by other people made before us. So with all that being said, let me open up these lines. How much blame is on us versus the system that we're a part of? I don't make excuses. I know what situation I'm in, and my job is to be successful. And the phone lines are open, and we're gonna inch out there brick by brick. But it's a telltale sign when we're pointing fingers before the conversation even start, man. And I just hope that we can get it back up to 70-80%, man. You know, because we are a part of the problem, whether we want to admit it or not. We are a part of the problem, and we can point fingers and say he did it, she did it. We are a part of the problem, you know, and we celebrate our community getting excavated of talent. For example, a little black girl gets accepted to Harvard. You know what every black person says? They celebrate it. Every black person celebrates the little black girl going to Harvard. Now, what that means is that black girl ain't coming back at all. 9 times out of 10, she ain't coming back mentally. Nah, she gone because we don't have the resources to serve her in the inner community, in the inner city. We don't have it. So she's going to go create a new circumference of friends, a new community at Harvard, and then she's going to go to grad school, and then she may get her PhD, but her resources from Harvard and her grad school will carry her probably the rest of her life. She'll go find a husband. She'll go find new friends, but we celebrate that. What's up?
That's great. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think relationships, I know for a fact, relationships are very complicated. Individual relationships are very complicated. Anybody who's been married or been with someone past 5 or 10 years, they fought for that relationship.
Right.
And it looks on the outside different than it is when people who've actually been with people for that amount of time. A lot of different situations happen. And nowadays, things have changed where we want to pick and choose when we want to be traditional. Women want traditional to stay at home and a man to take care of, but you're not a traditional woman. You don't cook. You don't want to listen to your man. You don't want him to lead. You want to have an Instagram. You want to have an OnlyFans. How can a woman have an OnlyFans and have a baby and expect that man to stay with her? How can that happen? So we can't. We're progressing on one end, and we're digressing on the biggest part of what Black people, the core of what we are, is our relationship, and we fail at relationships really, really bad. And it's not just men, it's women too. But I think that's something that has to be more so taught than what you said.
No, I'm listening. Nothing. Go ahead.
I think it's something that got to be taught more so than that could be explained away, and that's more so an environmental thing. But it always has to be somebody to break that change, because a lot of times it's not just one generation. You might have a household or two attached households where it might be 3-4 generations to that, where nobody's married. The mama was single, the grandmama was single, and the great grandmama was single.
Facts.
And none of them have good relationships with their exes. And we know, both of us know plenty of people where they got baby mamas or people they have kids from, and they don't fucking talk to them. And the reasons are a lot, but we just have relationship problems, especially when it comes to men and women. When it's over, it's just not. It just becomes ridiculous. Because I have an ex, and it's just ridiculous. Some of the things I have to put up with her. And I'm talking about my daughter is 25, and I still don't talk to her fucking ass. And the stuff that people hold on to is just ridiculous. But you can't fall inside people's mind and let them let stuff go. So it's hard to build that. So now she has someone that she's with, and she has the same. So what are the likelihood of her taking some of that bitterness that she's seen from her mother and passing that on? It's very high. So, I mean, that's a complicated question. I really don't have the answer to it. I just know traditional time people didn't have options when they could leave. The women wasn't working. She wasn't a breadwinner. Men still make more money than women, but women are working. Some of these women feel like they don't need men. They have aggression like men. Some of these women also, they get to these dudes that aren't really men. And a lot of times, I have 3 girls. They're all in their 20s. And all of them at some point, I had to sit down and talk to them about their mates. And look, you as a woman can't tell a man how to be a man. Now, what you can do is get a better mate. But you can't tell a man how to be a man. Young women like to tell men how to be men. You can't do that. You can't tell women how to be men. So I think that, and then when you start getting into those numbers, it's a bigger story of it, because we just don't have the communication skills and relationship part of it. I mean, that's my summary of it. What do you think about the relationship? And so, I mean, right now you're just dealing with the man and the woman as marriage. I'm just talking about relationships, period. How bad we are with relationships, Black people. Just think about how bad we are. Most people just go to work, and the people they work with, those are the people they talk to. Those people they hang out with. They don't have any kind of social environment outside of it. They ain't invited to no events outside. That's what they do. And then the people they work with, limited amount of people that they talk to on their jobs. So how good are we at socializing?
Damn.
I mean, just think about, like, if you don't, like, most people aren't going out of their way to physically go somewhere. They get in these groups they go on YouTube, they'll go on Instagram, they'll go on Clubhouse, but physically going somewhere where you hang out with somebody and you experience life with that person. How many people do that outside of where they have to be? If it's not money involved, they don't do it. People don't do it.
They don't.
So if you're not experiencing different people and there's not a common interest of money, because money is a good equalizer. If me and you don't agree and we have a money interest, we can put that to the side to figure this out. But if there's no money and there's no common interest and we don't agree, I don't have to ever talk to you.
Hey, caller. You know the thing that we don't have as a Black culture that everybody else does have?
What's that?
Black people don't have no culture.
No, they don't.
Wow.
They don't have a culture. The culture is death.
Wow.
That's the culture. Tell me if that's not the culture. It's all in the music. It's all in everything that we do. It's death. That's the culture. Everybody else has a culture. They have rites of passages. They have quinceañera dances for Hispanic people. They have all these other things. Black people don't have it. We used to have jumping the broom for weddings. People don't even want to jump the broom no more. Think about how crazy that is.
But where will we get it from? We go a little deeper. Where will we get the culture from? Think about that part of it. Where are we going to get, like us as being here in America, where are Black people going to get their culture from? From pain. Most of it's going to be pain. When you start going back in history, it's going to be pain. It's not going to be anything that bring you together or leads you out. Because look, here, I live in Florida. In Florida, like a generation or two ago, in order for you to buy land, you had to go get the person that you work for to come and sign for you to get that land. Think about that. And that's probably like great grandma. So that's not like something you read in the book. This is recent history. So that trauma had to be passed on.
Yeah, the trauma I believe the trauma was passed on, like you're saying. That's why when we was talking yesterday, I was saying about the whole Big Mama thing. That's been passed on. Big Mama, then you have grandma, and then you have the daughter. Primarily, usually, like you said, everybody's single, but they all had kids. You see? So, like, it's continued to be passed on. There's never a head of that family. So everybody reverts back to Big Mama for logic, reason, and understanding when it's all emotional. And then you get these emotional young men that go out into the country or into the city, destroy the city. I mean, I was reading a story a few years ago about, I think it was somewhere in Africa, where they brung in these older bull male elephants to tame the younger male elephants because the younger male elephants was destroying the city. So they brought in the wiser, older male elephants to rein them in, which makes a lot of logical sense to men.
We can't do that though, because our women shut us down. And when you're with a woman and you have a child, that woman, right? If you don't have custody of that child, you guys separate, you basically have lost the majority of your rights to that child. Now you're going to control when you see that child and what you're going to participate in and what things you're going to be having a say-so in that child. That child's in another household. So that situation is changed because now you got the blended family. And now when you look at, in period, a lot of these folks now it's about money. And when you build relationships, especially when it's kids based on money, everything is wrong with that whole situation. Not some of it, all of the shit is wrong. Because how did you build anything with that?
Yeah, you can't build anything. There's no structure. There's no structure that's ever going to be built because men only protect and take care of what they have authority over. I mean, just put it like this. There's no way I can ask either one of you guys to go protect and be responsible for something that I don't give you authority over. There's no way. You wouldn't do it. So what we see in our community is our community say, hey man, come back, help out, do this for the community. But can I tell anybody in the community what to do? Oh no, you can't do that. But you can come serve. What kind of shit is that, bro? It's like, just come give everything away for free. You have no authority though. See, because in the quote unquote gynocracy, which is our community, you only get to serve it. You cannot have authority over it. Okay, I'm gonna give you a movie. I'm gonna give you a movie reference, and I'm gonna show you the movie that I'm talking about. Mr. Clark, East Side High School. Mr. Clark goes in, changes the whole school, changes the attitudes of the kids and everything. And guess what happened? And guess who sent them to prison in the school? Who sent them to prison in school? Y'all remember? an angry one, right?
Yeah, angry for that woman did it. But look, when he had that same role, who gave him authority was the women gave him authority over their children. They didn't step in there and try to say, "Oh, you can't talk to my son like that." The ones that kept their kids there, they all gave him that authority.
They sure did, and that's what happened. See, and that's why I'm happy for the brother that started the school, Fred. That was on your page, the X School for Boys.
Yeah, isn't that beautiful?
It's very beautiful because he's running it in his own way. But the only people that's gonna stop him is the pushback may come from the women parents. That's his greatest threat because the men are not gonna get in his way.
No, it's gonna be the women. It's gonna be the women. And you know what happens to me? Like, and I know some women get mad, but think about it like this: when a man and woman have a child, married or unmarried, it doesn't matter. It's before before month 2 hit, that woman is down in the courthouse putting the court in the middle of their business. They didn't even try to figure out if they could work that out, come up with an amicable agreement. None of that. You've already created the divide and the wedge from the beginning.
Caller, I take that as a form of, as Michael Fuller would say, I take that as a form of white supremacy. I'm sorry, bro. That's what I take that as.
I didn't
I'm
say
sorry
anything.
to say it.
I mean, some people.
What'd you say, Mike?
I mean, some people. Say again?
No,
Mike was saying something. Go ahead,
no,
Mike.
I didn't. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah, I was saying, Mike. I'm gonna let the caller go after this. I was saying that if a woman calls the police on a man that has not done anything that physically harmed her, to me, as far as calling the courts in as well, especially a black man, to me, that is a form of exercise of white supremacy.
I agree with that. Indirectly, yes. Indirectly, I agree with that. That's because the way they describe that, I mean, I think it's a little more complex than most people would think. But one of the sad things about the condition of our people right now is some of the worst white supremacists are black, because we
practice it very well.
Yeah, we view each other through that lens. We view each other through the lens of our oppressors. And a lot of that has to do with the programming that goes along in the media. We talked about the study with the children, when you gave them, the little girls, black dolls and white dolls. Yeah, the doll study. I mean, that speaks volumes. We're programmed from a very young age to learn how to despise those who look like us, to be enemies of those who look like us, and to internalize the notion of being black as being dark, ugly, being dirty, all the different negative stereotypes that go along with that particular colorism that they program us to be a part of. And we're sometimes the worst practitioners of white supremacy when we deal with one another, and that's one of our biggest issues. And I think that has a lot to do with just like you guys were talking about before. We've lost our culture because of miseducation in the public school systems. We don't know our history. I mean, when we go, we don't know the environment that we live in today because we don't understand what happened yesterday. We don't understand the history of the country, and we don't understand ourselves before we even got here. When you look in the textbooks in public school systems, Black history is about, our portion in civics is about a page and a half, 2.5 pages, where it tells us, we were slaves. Abraham Lincoln freed us. Martin Luther King gave a speech, and here we are. That's pretty much
fact. That's a great fact, Mike Fuller, because look, they won't even teach you about the guy that created Black History Month.
Right. Yeah. The more ignorant you are, the better position you are and to be exploited. And I think that's the biggest thing that we have going on right now. We just have we're a community of people who are really prisoners of war. And we do not know the environment that we live in. We don't understand the environment that we live in. There are massive think tanks, man. Massive think tanks that discuss on a regular basis how they're going to maintain power over the Black and brown populations of this nation for the next 100, 200 years. You understand? We can't think past next week. Right?
Yeah, without having an argument. Yep. Without having an argument. Yep.
The fruit of what we see right now, where we don't have like you guys were talking about, we don't have a culture other than the culture of death, gang culture, right? Just like Snoop Dogg came on international television during the Super Bowl, instead of him using them using that as a form to talk about the social issues that plague Black people in this country that have us oppressed. And underneath the ship now, we're not even in the bowels of the ship anymore. We're underneath the ship. So not even talk about, not to talk economically speaking and socially speaking. That's where we're at. So instead of them actually bringing about those topics, they go out there and have a bunch of Black guys with blonde hair, with dancing like jigaboos with blonde hair and prison garb on, prison uniforms. And
the imagery,
and throwing up gang signs. That's what I'm saying. That sort of thing. That is Southern Los Angeles culture, but most Black people in this country do not live like that. We don't live like that. Most Black people in this country are trying to go to work every day, provide for their families. We just want to live, man, and we live in a very dysfunctional environment, and that's something that's been created through years and years of planning. The biggest thing that destroyed our families was back in the 60s and 70s when the government came in and said, hey, Black woman, you don't need a Black man anymore. They moved all the factories out of the inner cities. We're gonna stop you right there, Mike. Hey, Fred, play that clip that I just sent you so Mike can see what I'm Mike, you hitting it right on the nail on the head. Fred, play that clip. Here it go, Mike. You've seen this clip before. James Earl Jones.
Financial status. Now you understand that if you get married, we might drop Mrs. Price from the program, but this will be determined after your financial status has been computed by us. It has nothing to do with age of the children. You understand?
If you will sign the statement, it shows your income and your expenses, Mr. Marshall, and get it back to me within 2 weeks. You understand?
Yes, I understand all that, but listen, I gotta ask you something because I gotta think about this thing. What happens if I lose my job?
If you're married, you must apply for welfare.
I must apply for welfare?
You must apply for welfare. Otherwise, this would constitute a misuse of ADC funds.
Which is fraud.
You understand? If the husband's unwilling or unable to make a contribution equal to what it would cost him to maintain an independent living arrangement, he must apply for welfare. Do you understand? Otherwise, this would constitute a misuse of ADC funds.
Which is fraud.
Which is misappropriation.
Which is fraud.
Right, okay, now wait a minute. Now, if I marry this lady, I want to make things better. But if I spend $1 on you, you're going to deduct it from her, right? If I want to buy her something extra, you're going to deduct it. And I better report every penny I spend, or else I'm a crook. Okay, now you say if I lose my job, I must apply for welfare because I can't just sit around eating the government's biscuit.
Which is fraud.
Oh, that's a fraud, right? Okay. Now, if I do go on welfare, then I'm just another lazy ass nigga that's living off taxpayer. All right, now, suppose I do not marry this lady. Now, if I move in with her and do not tell you, then we're both crooks, right? But if I do tell you, then we're back to the income and the outcome and the deducting, and you try me to drink. And you call a fraud if I spend $7 for a bottle of whiskey. Come on, buddy. Yeah. You can't win. Understand? Fraud.
Don't you hear me? Don't you feel it? Stay away.
Fraud. You force that man out of the house because it ain't worth the crap you got him on through.
Yes, I ain't.
Who says you ain't? Bring the kids to my house Saturday night. We'll make the announcement official.
That had to be an ad-lib. What's up? Go ahead.
Look how classic that was.
Yeah, that's good.
Go ahead.
That kind of wrapped up
We know
what I
our
was getting at.
history either because the only history we got is American history. So if you look at history before American history, before slavery, Black people in actually history, the only history we fed is slavery. And even that portion of slavery, these people lie about everything. So why do we believe these folks when they come that we all came over here on boats, but we can't find, we should be able to find massive amounts of slave boats if all these Black people came over here on slave ships. Where the hell are all these boats at?
Yeah, there's a lot of
Black people
conjecture.
were here already before we got here.
Yeah, there's a lot of
You don't even
theory.
know that.
There's a lot of theory and facts about that. And it's, hey, first of all, let me say, hello to everybody. Fred, how you doing?
Hey, great, man.
All right. Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, we do know that there's this 70-80% of Black kids growing up in single parent families That is a serious problem, and it's something that's been planned for. There's huge think tanks that were like this clip we saw that were designed even back then to bring this reality that we see today. Back 30, 40, 50 years ago, they were planning this, and now they're seeing the results of their planning come to fruition. They're actually seeing our families being destroyed. One thing we can know for sure: without the black family, the black community is just it's not going to exist. We are a people on the verge of being annihilated. And I was talking to someone today. It's not so much about color discrimination or color inferiority anymore, because they're not pushing that anymore, because you can't do anything when you talk about someone being inferior due to the color of their skin. It's hard to justify anything but their oppression as a result of that. And even now, today, more education and everything with the color racism, the color inferiority paradigm, it's very difficult to oppress people out in public because that's looked down upon. But when you have an inferior culture, when your culture is looked at, hold on a minute, let me finish this point real quick. When your culture is looked at as being inferior, with the gang culture, you got a bunch of thoughts, gang members, a culture that's full of very uneducated, ignorant people,
degenerate,
work hard, degenerate. You looked at as the refuse of the planet and the refuse of your particular environment, of your country. That is the position that black people are in right now because of the way that our culture is displayed in the mass media and the things that, because we don't have any knowledge of self, we actually try to live up to that gang culture and all, because that's what they tell us we are. So we believe it because we don't really know who we are, because we don't have that education to know the difference. So that particular culture, when you have that culture inferiority and you have that type of defamed culture, that's actually grounds for extermination. That's grounds for annihilation. It's no longer, the paradigm has shifted from color racism and oppression to now cultural racism, where they're saying your culture is degenerate. You are a very degenerate culture of people who really make the world, you are the refuse, the trash, the garbage of the earth. Once they start defining you as that, it's no longer grounds for oppression, it's grounds for annihilation. And that's how we see 10 black people get murdered in Buffalo, New York, and a week and a half later, nobody's talking about it. That's why that's acceptable. That's why you can have 10 people, black people, get murdered up in Buffalo, New York, while they're grocery shopping for their families in cold blood. And you have Biden come down and give a speech, go back to the White House and not produce 1 inch of legislation to protect black people from
as a protected class. Facts.
The anti-black racism, just like he did the Asian community. He's not going to give us that legislation. You know why? Because it's acceptable to annihilate us. Now, not spoken, but it's understood that it's acceptable because there's nothing being done about it. And that's because we have a degenerate culture that's being pervasive through the media, and it's something that our kids are growing up and our grandkids are growing up to support because they don't know who they are. The lack of education. So when you have that degenerate culture, not colorism anymore, but they're saying your culture, your way of being as a human being is the refuse of the planet, that's grounds for annihilation.
Well, like I live in South Florida. Here in South Florida is very different. I don't know where you guys live in, but here in South Florida, we're very diverse with different people from different places. Now you can have a Dominican here, and you might make a mistake and say, "Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? You black?" And you imply that person is black, and the Dominican will have dark skin, and they will stop you immediately and tell you that they are not black. And that would go for a black Cuban, a Dominican, a Haitian, a Cuban. It wouldn't matter. So these people have separated out here. Here is very unique because a lot of these people actually have authority here. And when they get authority, they only look out for themselves. And when we get authority down here, we try to go out of our way to be so impartial that we won't even hire each other.
That's what I'm saying.
And
That goes back to my first point. We're the worst white supremacists.
So, but my point, what I'm making is like, you're here is probably like the epicenter of here, where you could really see it. Because certain places there's not all these different groups of people. Here you got all kind of groups of people here. Because you got the Caribbean. It's almost like a coastal town where you get people that live here that are not from here. So everybody grasping and try to get authority they can get, and you can kind of see it. You can see what's going on. You can see who's rising to the top, and you can see who ain't. And the black men here are very passive. They don't really know how to talk on the general notes. And the place outside of sports and outside that arena is very uncomfortable. And then when they talk about other things, very childish. So in some areas we really advanced, in other areas we're really far behind. Because like you say, what's important to us, what we looking at. People don't know their history because it's not taught and they're not looking for it. Right now, everybody got a phone where if you want to find something out, you find it out. But it's not that important. So we've digressed and we've let all these other groups that literally just got here run past us. I mean, run past us. It's not even close. And they've built wealth that you people who've been here haven't established for a plethora of reasons. But a lot of it is our mindset. It's not the government. It's not anybody. It's our mindset. And then the Buffalo shooting that we were talking about here, some of these neighborhoods through here, you don't want to be in them very long. And it's us killing us. And we won't say nothing to each other. We won't even, somebody, not too long ago, I would say about a month and a half ago, one of these young folks killed a young lady because I think it was based on her going to trial and testifying. Well, they killed her, and they killed their child, and nobody said anything because we've adopted this culture of not snitching, and it was a black person killing another black person. Nobody said nothing.
Yeah. That goes back to what? That goes back to. Go ahead, caller, and then I'm gonna go after you.
Oh, okay. Well, what I would say is that I think that it's a lot more complex, but a lot of it starts with our relationships and what are our priorities, because we've been lied to on every piece of media. The original piece of media that we were lied to would be that Bible. That's the first piece of media that we were lied to. And every piece of publication and every piece of media that came after that was based off of a lie. Well, we tried to find some good in it, to find some standards and some morals behind it, but all that shit is based off lies.
What are
now,
you saying?
You can find some good in everything, but you can't have anything solid and foundational if it's built off of a lie.
Okay, what are you saying about the Bible is a lie? What are you saying? What's a lie in the Bible?
Where
that book
came from? Who put the book together?
No, I'm not trying to. I asked you a question. Answer my question first. What is it?
Okay, so that would be okay. The book itself and how that book was organized and who was putting together. Now, you remember you said they got this think tank, and every so often they're coming together to put together.
Not so every often. They're perpetually working on their plans. Not every so often. That's every day. Not every so often. It's a perpetual thing. It's not every so often. Okay. Those think tanks are alive and well as we
they run it. They always run it
right now. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So the Bible itself and that religion, that is we can all agree that was the foundation that Christianity was built off of, correct?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, and most black people are Christians for the most part. Some are Islam, some are other cultures, but for the most part, we're mostly Christians, and that's where we get our foundation. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that book was those books. If you believe in the Bible, and this isn't a religion thing. I'm not debating religion. People have the right to believe whatever they want. I'm not going to say about their religion. I'm talking about the book itself. That book was,
okay, go ahead.
What was the original language that book was translated from? The original language was Hebrew.
Yes, go ahead. You drawing out a really long point though. We're trying to get you to get to it.
Yeah, what is the thing about the Bible that you're saying is false? What is it?
Okay, so this is what I'm gonna get right here. So the translate, even if you believe the book is real or not, if the translation, if you try to speak Spanish and you translate that into English, you're gonna lose words. You're gonna have to adapt, and you're gonna have to change yourself to make that make sense. Any language that you start translating, the words are never gonna match up, even if you believe it's true, which I don't believe it's true. With a lot of that stuff was the translation is never gonna make any sense for it being put together. The publication of it is not gonna make any sense. The King James, the version of it that was put together, that particular book and those books that were put together, there's a lot of history with that. And this ain't, I don't think it's the forum for it because I don't even want to really get into the.
All right, that's cool. All right, that's cool. Don't worry about it. Okay. Okay, yeah, don't worry about it, caller. Let's just say this, caller. Black people have no standards and no order. Would you agree that that book would at least bring us order? Either that book or the Quran. I mean, just two options. Would that at least give us a family structure order? Either one of the books.
No. No, it's not long, man. Listen what I'm gonna tell you. If we as men, right, if we as conscious men in the year that we're in right now, right, can come together and we can all disagree, but we can all come together and work in a common good. That's going to be working in a truthfully based system, right? So now, if I bring you anything that I didn't write, you didn't write, we don't know where it came from. We're only living off folklore and folk stories because I'm only going off my hypothesis, and everybody else is only going off their hypothesis. Nobody really knows anything back in those times, but we can't really.
All right, I got a question for you, caller. I got a question. So let's say this. Let's put the books away, like Malcolm said. Let's put the religion away. Do you agree that we have to first start with man, woman, child?
Man, woman, what? Say again?
Man, woman, child. Do you agree that we have to start there first?
Yes.
Okay, that's the divine order. Now, after we do that, then we can go with whatever our cultural rituals should be for coming of age for teenagers, boys, and girls, and then you go from there. Is that kind of at least a basis?
Of course, yes, obviously, of course.
All right,
you have to
so
remove, right. Because remember too, the problem with religion too, that people they use it as a weapon.
I just threw it out. I just threw the religion out. Let's just build off of that.
Right.
We ain't going into our religion. We let that go. Now let's just go to where we can build from, to where we can get further along in the conversation, so we don't have to go back to that. You know what I'm saying? So us as men would probably agree that our children should possibly be married. Would we all say that before they have kids?
Without doubt, yeah.
See, I'm just trying to build it as we fly it versus us having the differences of religion, this, and this. Let's start with base things that we have to have in order for it to at least be a family. And then after a family, then we can have a community. Because right now we really don't got a community. People just say black community, but we really don't got one because really there's no men there.
There's no community because there's no black family. The black family,
right? Because there's no family.
7, 8, 10 out of 10 kids, or 7 or 8 out of 10 kids are born in single parent homes.
Damn,
that's a serious problem, man. Serious problem, you know. And you couple that with the miseducation of black kids, where they don't know anything about no real knowledge of who they are, not as prisoners of war or slavery coming in here or being within this environment, and not before. We have no knowledge of who we are. That's why we are lost people. We lost because we have no knowledge of who we are. You know, when it's all said and done, you can say the Bible's this, Bible's that. But if you live according to what that Bible tells you to live, if you just take the book of Proverbs and you live in accordance with what that book tells you to live, how you're supposed to live, then your life's going to be all right, because you're not going to be out doing stupid things that's based on the lack of wisdom. Okay. If you live by that book.
Yeah, it'll keep you away from a bunch of foolish things. Yes.
A lot of people who say that the Bible's not this, Bible's not that. In my opinion, I think you just haven't read it. You just haven't read the Bible.
I read the Bible.
Okay, did you apply it to your life?
Folks also was hanging us by trees with the Bible too.
Well, here's the thing, though.
The Bible can be manipulated. The Bible is a publication that people have manipulated that very well.
The devil
use it to their benefit.
The devil is awesome and taking what God has created and twisting it to his own benefit. I mean, obviously they use the Bible. They use he's not going to take a tool that's not powerful, right? Why would you take a tool that wasn't powerful to move and change the human spirit, and try to enforce your own particular ideology or your own particular goals? I mean, they took the Bible because it had power, and they took that and they twisted it, took certain verses out of it to try to subjugate us to, what we were going through as slaves, and even post-slavery. But the bottom line, that doesn't take away the truth of the Bible. It doesn't take away its power to change the human condition. If you read it, I don't even think you don't have to read it. Just like I said, you don't have to read the whole thing. You can just read the book of Proverbs, and if you live in accordance with that book, your life is going to be all right. If you apply.
I believe you're right too, Mr. Fuller.
Have you ever heard of good ship? Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Caller. What you say? Have you ever heard of what?
The good ship Jesus. Have you guys ever heard of the good ship?
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah. I've heard of all those things. I heard all those facts.
Before you make that point, let me wrap this up.
No, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But what I want to say, as far as bringing up the good ship Jesus, there's a lot of history. We all know about this history. There's a lot of history that people do not know, and we spend a lot of time with lack of knowledge. Past the part of we just got off the boat, and that's the history that black people stop at in America. That's the furthest people go with black history.
It goes back to what?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Most people don't even understand. Like, I didn't even understand the geography of Egypt when I got out of school. So I thought the Middle East, I had no idea. And I'm just being bluntly honest. I had no idea. Didn't know.
It goes back.
Not alone. It goes back to what KP. You're not the last knowledge. You're not taught in the community, and you're not taught in the schools your history.
It goes back to what KP was saying earlier, is that we have no standards, right? And here's one thing. Just speaking logically, right? I don't know. Do you believe in God, caller? Do you believe in God? Do you believe that God is?
Not really.
Okay. So if you believe in God, okay, that means he orchestrated the worlds, the universe, the planet that we live on, even created mankind itself, right? So if God did all of that, why would he take all the things he had to take into account to build the human body, the heart, our lungs, appendages, eyes, organs, all the things he did to put this magnificent machine really together, made of flesh that we call of our bodies? How would he do that? Why would he do that and then not give us the instructions on how to live and function within the environment that he put us in on this planet? Right. And so there's got to be some set of standards or laws that he gave to mankind in order to live by. What is that standard? And what I would say is you really have to discover that through study and the application of the things that we have available to us. And I know that if you study and you apply certain aspects, if you apply the Bible and you study it and you apply those things that tell you how to live righteously, then your life's going to be all right. Now, I don't, of course, the history of that book, how it was used in slavery. Well, Nat Turner, right? He read certain parts that they wanted to read up until a certain point, but then he started reading other parts of the Bible. And eventually he had that massacre that he said that God told him to do that.
And he rose up,
through the word. So, that same Bible that was used to subjugate us both spiritually and psychologically under
liberated him
evils of slavery, also liberated him mentally and showed him that God did not want us to live under those conditions. Right. So it's a matter of what perspective you're reading it from. I will say that the Bible, the way it's been used in Christianity, is false when it tells the lie that the Bible is a European book, because it's not. The Bible is a book about people of color, black folks. Okay. And if you go back and you do the research on it, I mean, Revelation talks about chapter 1, verse 14 through 16 talks about how Christ was a black man, is a black man. So, I mean, when it's all said and done, you know, it's a book that's been twisted and used by systems of white supremacy to subject us both psychologically and spiritually to domination and take us out of our, I mean, the whole reason when we were bought here was to be labor, right? And in order to, and a big part of making us a labor force was to dehumanize us. And a big part of that was a psychological and physical domination. Part of that psychological domination was through the twisting of the Bible and Christianity, and the other was through sexual and physical torture. Sexual and physical torture. This place was just about as much about sexual exploitation,
deviancy,
and abuse than it was actually physically, you know, harming us and causes us pain in other ways. So when it's all said and done, we have a history of that. We have to be healed of that history, and you know, when it's all it's no way to be healed of it if we don't understand why we're dealing with some of the issues that we're dealing with. The child abuse, spousal abuse that's passed down generation to generation. The fact that we're not marrying as much as we should. A lot of that is going back and relapsing into what was relapsing into what was bred into us as slavery, as slaves. We were bred huge breeding farms, right? Like cattle, and we had less rights under the law than livestock. We had less protections under the actual law of the land than livestock, right?
Great point, Mike.
So when it's all said and done, we have a lot to heal from, but we're not going to heal from that unless we understand that the devices that we have, these cell phones, these computers, there's more information on these computers. There's no reason why any black person should not be educated about their history. The fact is, we got to realize that they're more than just for pornography, right? You got to use these devices for more than just looking at pornography. You got to break the devices open and understand and research and find out what's in there about who you are and what has happened to our people and the condition. Because see, here's the thing. It doesn't really matter what condition you're in, what type of condition you're in. It is a man-made condition. I'm talking about conditions of oppression. It's a man-made condition. And the bottom line is they may be operating with spiritual forces of evil behind them in their think tanks and the way they set up this environment to make us suffer and our potential annihilation. But at the end of the day, it's something that we can overcome if we understand the environment. We cannot understand the environment without the proper study, the proper education, the proper mental and spiritual preparation to deal with it. And physical preparation to deal with it. So that needs to be the goal. That needs to be the goal. But the fact is, it is a man-made environment that's created as a result of negative or dark spiritual forces that create this oppression and this wicked environment that we live in. But it's still brought into physical reality through men, and so it can be overcome. But it's got to be overcome through the proper spiritual, intellectual, and physical preparation and understanding. Any environment that you're in, no matter how chaotic and oppressive, you can overcome it if you have the right education, the right preparation.
But you're only emphasizing what I was saying. We can always find something great in anything, and we're very highly intelligent, but we can adapt. And another part of us adapting, a lot of times we don't give ourselves enough credit for what we can do and what we have done. We've done a lot of destruction to ourselves outside of whatever guides they have. We've done it. We've done a lot of destruction to ourselves with the music we listen to, with the things that we're watching. Kids start picking that stuff up early. When we think they're not watching, they pick it up, and they just perpetuate that same foolishness. They keep it going because we bobbing our heads to the same nonsense. They feel like they should do it too. We started that early. When they 9 years old, they paying attention. They seeing it. And then what we do is we repaint our history, how we were when we were teenagers, when we talking to our kids. We not damn truthful. We don't tell the truth. But if we told the truth to them, we might be able to save them from some of the stuff that we did wrong, but we don't want to look bad. We want to look like an action figure.
Yeah, you making some great points. I think a lot of it, like Mike was saying, is we are recreating what we had on those plantations over and over again. Because primarily, if the men were brought here to be the workforce, right? Then I always ask people this question to see what their answer is. If the men were brought here for the workforce, why were the women brought here? Because they weren't brought at the same time. Why were the women brought here?
To replenish the workforce and for sexual exploitation.
Yep, and by replenishing that workforce, they basically created them to be exactly who they are today. It's sad to say.
Yeah,
but that's what we're seeing today.
That is correct, bro.
Multiple guys with multiple women that have multiple children by them. That's why the guys that you see like Future, you see Antonio Cromartie, you see all these super athletes. All they are is a walking, talking buck. That's what they are.
Exactly, and they don't understand that. Why? Because they don't know their history. They don't know the history of this country. They don't know the history. And here's the other thing: standard. They're living by the standards of prisoners of war. They're living by the standards of slaves, right? Under the auspices of slave owners, right? And so until we get away from that paradigm and understand not what they say we are, but who does the creator of the universe say we are, right? What does he say? And where are we gonna get that? We can't get that from watching Snoop Dogg on halftime show.
Because Mike, Snoop been lying to us for 30 years about he's smashing all these bras, right? But Snoop only got kids by one woman, and he married. Even though he might be doing something else, Snoop got all his kids by one woman, and he married.
I bring him up as just an example.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, but go ahead.
My point is we have to look to the creator of all the worlds, the creator of the universe, to understand who we are as human beings on this planet. And I think what we need to realize too, we live in what type of world we live in, right? And if you are, just say you're in let's just take it in general statements. Say you're in a very good environment, a very bad environment, right? If you say you're in a very good environment, you're surrounded by a bunch of good folks, everyone's great, the environment's great, and all of a sudden you don't fit in. You understand? You don't fit in. So if you don't fit into a very good environment that's very that's excellent in every way that you can think of, and you just don't fit into that environment, it could be a good chance that you're just not a good person. You're not where you need to be from a spiritual and a physical standpoint, right? But the world is not a good place. We understand that. You can go to every continent on the globe, and there's death and destruction, right? There's poverty. There's children suffering. The world is not a good place. But then when you look at whose culture is actually the refuse of the world, looked at as, you got people just like you mentioned, the Dominicans, everyone coming over here. They're not saying that they're not black. They know their skin is just as dark as us. What they're saying is that I don't have the African American culture associated with me. That's what they're saying. They're saying because they know the skin color is the same. What they're saying is your culture is not mine. It's not mine.
Yep. Facts, Mike.
That's what they're saying.
Mike, I'm glad you brought that point up, though, because I just went to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico in March. Last year, I went to Dominican Republic. The year before, I went to Jamaica, and I went to the Bahamas. Every time I go to these places, the people are as black as us, but they got a culture. They got a culture where the men lead, the women follow, and then everything falls in line. That's pretty much their cultures.
Yeah.
When you go to these spaces, that's what you see. Go ahead, Mike.
The think tanks that existed here, just like we saw in that video clip, made the plans 40, 50 years ago that the women would lead and the men would be non-factors in the black community. And as a result, you got a bunch of boys grow up undisciplined. They don't know, emotional. emotionally driven, undisciplined, and undisciplined men don't line up at three places. One is 6 feet deep.
Wow.
2 is in the grave, or 3 wearing a dress. You understand?
Wow, that's the new one.
That's the other option. That's the new one. Yeah. Hey, Mike. Mike, you made some. Let me say this point real quick. I'm gonna let you. Mike, you made some great points, man. Because really, what we're looking at is, man, it's hard to say this, bro, but I gotta say this. It might shock some of y'all, but if you really pay close attention, if the men are not being heard in these political climates in the community, because the men died in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, right? All those leaders, the Hamptons, the Kings, the X's, Evers, all those men, right? Bobby Seale, all these guys, right? Black men leading charges. After integration happened in the 60s and 70s, who became the right hand of white supremacy? That's a question. Who became the right hand of white supremacy after those men were murdered off?
The black woman. You want the truth?
Wow.
That's sad to say, but truth is true.
Hey man, let me explain something. Let me run through something real quick. Give you an example of this, right?
Run through it.
Okay. I told you guys. I know Fred knows my background and everything, but you guys, man, know I'm a nuclear.
I heard. I've been on with you a few times.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm a nuclear engineer. Got advanced degrees in engineering, all that crap. The state that I live in, I'm the only. And I'm telling you guys this because I just want to, let you know where I'm coming from.
It's okay.
And also so you can be proud. Also you can be proud of
exactly. That's where I'm more. Yeah. For sure.
But I'm the only African American in the history of the state that I live in to have a license to supervise the operation of a nuclear power plant, of a commercial nuclear power plant in the history of the state. So I took a trip down to another nuclear power plant about 3 weeks ago, and I was down there to audit their operations, the operations of their reactor plant, and see how they were actually operating, if they were operating in accordance with their procedures, and ways that maintain the health and safety of the public, so they wouldn't have a reactor accident. So I was down there taking a look at their operations, and when I pulled into their, I was new there, first day, pulled into their parking lot 6 o'clock in the morning. I parked next to another car, and when I got out, I didn't have a sticker or anything. When I got out, it was a black woman in the next car, and man, she got up and chewed me. Didn't say hello, sir, how you doing? Didn't call me sir. She rolled down her window and said, "Hey, man, don't you know you parking in a spot that you need to have a sticker on? I mean, just chew me up one way, up down the other way." And I said, "You know what, ma'am? I'm here to order, to take a look at your plan, help you guys get ready for your inspections coming up. I want to make sure you guys asked me to come down. I'm going to take a look at what's going on with your, reactor operations and so forth." She was still disrespectful, man. And I was like, wow, this woman had absolutely, just based on the color of my skin, she had absolutely no respect for me as a human being, right? Didn't ask me, even when I told her who I was, she still showed disrespect. I was like, man, our women are gone. And gone, bro. And see, they have no respect for us because they view us through the eyes of white supremacy. Yes, and when you say, is this, and when it's all said and done, all this blonde hair, all this straightening their hair all the time, blonde hair, these eyelashes and contacts in, our women are gone, brother. That's why I said when it's all said and done, we need to come in contact and start building these black families and having these young black girls grow up with their fathers. And the same thing for black boys. That's got to happen. If not, we're done. We're done on this continent. It's over.
Yeah, it's over. I mean, Mike, you made a great point. And I was telling Fred this the other day. I said when Ice Cube came with that plan, it signified this is the end. Because he came with the plan and they shot him down with the plan based on how they felt about who the candidate was. And instead of them saying, we wanted this, they said that they were a separate entity from us. And when they said that, I said, this is over. Game over.
Yep. Yep.
Can y'all give like a national example so people can have a landmark, like in terms of, you said like the black woman being the leader.
Here go Michael. Brittany Cooper. That's it.
Who?
Brittany Cooper, Oprah Winfrey, Gayle King.
Gayle King.
How many more you want me to name, Fred? I got a lot of them.
I can tell you something.
Jamel Hill. If you really want me,
I got one better than that. I got one better than all of them. Ketanji Brown Jackson just got nominated to the Supreme Court. Okay.
Or Kamala.
Okay, so here,
which one you want to go with Kamala?
Same thing. Married to a white guy, of course, right? But here's the deal: if you look at her history, man, you look at her decisions. Federal court judge, okay, biggest federal contractor or military contractor.
Wait, Mike, Fred is hitting Fred hard in the head, so he's smacking his head.
And I'm laughing at KB too. At the same time, I'm listening to y'all and I'm laughing at KB in the chat, man. So,
hey, it's over. Go ahead, Mike.
Biggest contractor in military contractor in the United States. Huge government contracts, super reliant on federal tax dollars. 80-90% of their revenues from federal tax dollars. Our tax dollars. You got over, I won't say who they are, but you got over 5,000 black people that work for that organization that come together and file a class action suit, racial discrimination against this major defense contractor. In fact, it was so bad there that they had record of a white person that was a obvious white supremacist KKK member that put those sort of things in his email, ended up killing a black co-worker that worked for the same organization, right? All of that got brought into her courtroom, all those different people bringing that class action suit. She threw it out. Threw it out because she said she couldn't come up with, and this is just a summary, she couldn't come up with a proper settlement because of the divergence in the extent of claims. One end of the spectrum was a person that wrongful death or murder that took place as a result of an environmental condition where it did not stop a known white supremacist and did not terminate that individual, but then that individual ended up killing someone black, to someone just saying that they never got promoted, being there 15 years in a row, sort of thing. So she said because of that large spectrum of complaints that she just threw the whole thing out in that out of her courtroom, never resolved that case. And so I would just say, go ahead. I would just say that is a huge indication of, and this is not all black women. Don't get me wrong, brother. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying all black women. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying there's a major sector of our women that are completely divested in the black family, the black community, and the things that we should be doing as a people in order to survive the situation that we're in. She's an example of that.
But you know that lady also, that judge you're talking about, they actually had a settlement before it even got to that point, where those individuals that got together in that class action lawsuit, they worked out a deal with that company, and she threw it out. She said it wasn't fair to the company. That's how it ended up into actual litigation, where she had to get a rule. But before she had to get a rule, they came up with a settlement, and she said it wasn't fair to that contract. She said it wasn't
exactly.
Fair. So that's how it got to that point.
Yeah, she didn't settle on it. She threw it out of court. Yeah, she threw it out of court.
Yeah, she said it wasn't fair to the company.
Yeah. So I mean, the bottom line is, with her being in, and this is for all of us who are still in corporate America, man. Those of us in the corporate America and dealing with racism and oppression, things of that nature, and it's common, it's commonplace. That's not a good sign. Her being nominated to the Supreme Court, not a good sign. Not a good sign at all. and it's obvious that it's obviously she's completely divested. It's sad, bro. I mean, the only thing, and this is what I will say. I do believe that this is a physical phenomenon that we're looking at, but there's spiritual origins of it. Because you look at the amount of people who are creating this environment. Very small population of the people of the planet, of the globe.
Yep, very small.
Very small. And so when you look in and you say, okay, you got a very small percentage of the people, I'm going to say, 7-8%, right, that even have the same ethnicity as the folks who are creating this reality. 7-8% only have this of those population have the same ethnicity as the individuals who are creating this reality. I don't care what type of situation you're in. If you go into a room with 100 people and 7 of those people are controlling the other 93,
wow,
hands down, there's spiritual forces behind that, bro. That's not a natural phenomenon, right? Especially when the means and the methods of controlling is through deception. I mean, obvious unethical practices, where those unethical practices have been perfected to the point where they're able to control the other 93 people in the room. That's spiritual, bro. That's not just a natural phenomenon. Obviously, it's materialized in the natural, but it has spiritual origins. And so what we need to realize is that these standards that we're talking about, these standards are what get us back. These standards that we're talking about is what gets us back on a level spiritual plane, that we're able to deal with this in the realm that we need to deal with it first as a people, as a group of people. Because that's what we did back in the 50s and 60s, bro.
You have to have the basics first, Mike. Yep.
Yeah, we didn't come out of what we was in because we were
without family.
Well, yeah, because we were just out fighting the police or fighting each other. We came out of what we were in because we had spiritual standards where we put the family and the family unit first, and there was structure within, and we had that structure, those standards you're talking about, KP, that we don't have now. Those standards were full.
Hey, Mike, today people fight against you having structure and discipline. That's what Bill Cosby was talking about, and then people throw him out the window off of false allegations from 40, 50 years ago, right? Go ahead.
They're dragging him back into court too now.
I know. They trying to get him with the system, but they threw America's Dead out the window. The one guy that signified it all for Black America in the 80s to the 90s, being America's Dead with the TV show.
I don't think
Black America's Dead, whatever you want to call it, right?
And here's how stupid we are, man. We're stupid enough to allow them to do that and not question the fact that the woman that conspired to have Emmett Till murdered, the woman that got on there, I don't remember her name right now. I'll look it up. But she said, Carolyn Bryant, thank you. She conspired to have him murdered. There's no statute of limitations against conspiracy to commit murder, bro. Why is Bill Cosby being brought in to court as a result of whatever they're saying he did 30, 40, 50 years ago? But Emmett Till's murderer conspired to murder him, hasn't even been, even questioned. You understand?
And she admitted to lying, right?
And she admitted to it. She admitted publicly admitted it. So I mean, we gotta think past the tip of our noses. We have to think past the tip of our noses and realize that that's not an ethical, that's not a justice system. That's
part of the indoctrination and the miseducation is people don't have the ability to even think. They don't have the ability to even think.
That's why the scales in front of every courtroom, when you look at the scales, that's why they imbalanced. That symbol is there for a reason. Those scales that scale is imbalanced. That's the way that's been set up and structured. We're not going to change that structure. That's the way that thing has been set up from its core. There's too many. It's too deep.
I think I know, brother. You said it. I know you said the Bible's not this, the Bible's not that. I'm not a religious man. I'm not. I can't tell you.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about the book itself. I'm not talking about religion.
Okay.
Let
Well,
me
I'm
be
just
very clear. I
clarifying
don't
that.
have any problem with anybody's religion. I'm talking about the Bible
Yeah,
itself.
yeah. I
But
understand.
most people guide by King James Version Bible. Do you know who came? Most people don't even know King James was gay.
Yeah. Hey, so who's that? Who's got
So
that
I,
beeping noise going
He
on?
on his truck. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Mute yourself when you're backing up. Mute yourself.
All right. All right. So at the end of the day, when it's said, when it's all said and done, even if you don't believe in the Bible, you know, you got to realize that it does speak about structure, and it does speak about the do's and don'ts of life. And so that's what we lack. So if we need to get back into that, which I believe that we do need to get back into it, because I believe that book has the ability to change the human condition. That's the reason why it's been used
Me too.
in such a very wrong way for so long.
You're right about changing the human condition.
Yeah,
because Fred, how can the people that don't even have intact families be the highest voter turnout for alphabet alternative families?
You're right. We show up to vote, but we won't show up to schools. We won't show up.
Wait, Fred, we show up to vote against our own best interests to integrate our families with people that cannot be total family structures because they're two of the same people.
Facts.
Like Fred and Mike. If either one of y'all had a male pit bull and I said I'm gonna bring my male over there next week so we can mate him, y'all be like, man, get the hell off my phone.
Hey, there's one thing that I won't get too deep into it. Let me just say this. One of the reasons why we haven't seen any meaningful police reform, the George Floyd bill that was up, it took them a long time to even consider making lynching of black people a federal crime. That bill went up before Congress over 200 times. Wow. We haven't seen any anti-black hate legislation, and then Joe Biden just went down there went up to Buffalo, New York, and gave a speech, hugged a black kid or two that had their fathers killed, and jumped back on the plane. You ain't heard nothing from him since. No actual legislation to change anything, like he gave the Asian community.
Just the photo op, do the photo op.
Yeah, just a photo op.
During Black History Month. Yeah, during Black History Month, we the
so, we haven't seen. There's a lot of different. No school loan forgiveness. No school loan forgiveness when they know that the vast majority of people who are trying to change their financial situation have went to college, and the vast majority of them have school debt that's going to keep them in debt for the next 3-4 decades.
Right.
No school loan forgiveness that was promised. All these different things. No stoppage of the gerrymandering that took place in the South and in Republican states where they're stopping black people from voting, making it more difficult to vote. Nothing to stop any of that. The reason why all of that is occurring right now is because on day one of his inauguration, he signed in 11 million illegal immigrants and gave them legal status in this nation in order to set up a long-term condition
to replace us. The
Democratic Party can completely divorce themselves from the need to solicit the black vote. And that is the situation right now. Right now, they understand. You look at the black, we're 40-something million people in this country, right?
Hispanics are like 60.
Okay, well, you sure 60? The last I heard, the last that
more than that
was 40-something.
More than that. It's you can't count. Then it's undocumented that you don't even know.
Okay, the last official number I've heard was about 47 million, 40-something million people. You take half of that, that's 20. I'm gonna say 22 million people.
Go ahead.
Most black people right now are under that voting age, right? We'll just say what we're gonna do is just do a logical number here. Say half is about half of 40-something is about 20-something million. So that's voting age. How many black people have paper or been in have paper on them? What I mean by paper is either
penitentiary. Yeah, go ahead.
Been in prison or have some type of federal crime attached to them where they cannot vote. How many will we take off? Let's say we can take off another 20% off of that, right? So another 20% off of that 20 million, right? Off of that 20 something million, we're talking something like 800,000 people, right? 800,000 people gone. So when you add 11 million illegal immigrants, most of them are people who can vote because they come over here to work, right? Them ain't kids.
They working.
People that come over here to work, working age.
In Texas, yeah.
Yes. When you give them legal residence and you give them legal status in this country, you have pretty much divorced yourself from the long-term reliance on the black vote. And that's what's happened, man. And so that's why
and Mike Fuller, that's exactly why Ice Cube's plan was perfect when it was initiated, and when they turned it down, that's what flipped the table over. Go ahead, Mike.
And that's why he's not saying, but he is saying with his actions, you get nothing. Because really, we've effectively divorced ourselves from our reliance on you to get in office. In the long term. Now, is that going to happen here in 2024? No, probably not. But in the long term, they've officially divorced themselves. You know, at that point, when that hits home, man, you realize that you really can't be anything but speechless, and understand that any type of reparation that we're truly going to get is going to come from within, where it says, physician, heal thyself. Physician, heal thyself. We're going to have to heal ourselves from within.
As a group.
Are we done here? We done.
I think Mike is.
That's the president for the last.
Go ahead, caller. I can't hear you.
Never
Go
had
ahead.
any legislation for them. None. Even from Obama all the way up. The only thing is with everybody else. The only thing we've gotten with everybody else was when Trump let that money go for COVID. People took those opportunities, but we've never gotten anything from any president. Obama did more for those gay folks than anything. That's what he was out. He was looking out for them gays. And then now Biden's in there. He's just doing what normal Democrats do, which is absolutely nothing. But he's not making it worse. They're not doing anything. That's what they do. So that's their pattern of history. What they've done, as long as I've been alive, that's what they've done. And they've been getting our vote without doing absolutely anything with no effect. There's no mass exodus. Even with Biden, with his lackluster performance, even with him fucking up the economy, even with him not doing enough for black people still lined up to vote for him. Either they want to vote for him or they're not going to vote.
Yo, yeah. I think everybody needs to read this article. Ooh, I appreciate you bringing that up, Michael. 11 million. That makes the black vote damn near irrelevant, dog.
It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. It's already irrelevant. See, that's what the people didn't understand. They said just go do this and get nothing for what you're voting for. The people did it and they got nothing. And now they're about to be replaced. They got the perfect people to replace them.
And that's why. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm done, Mike.
No, I was saying, and that's why the paradigm, the social paradigm today, is being manipulated and shifted from a paradigm of oppression based on race or color discrimination to a paradigm of annihilation, because they don't need us anymore, bro. They don't need us anymore.
And it's not going to, and they don't really, and Mike, they really don't have to physically annihilate us because everybody is mingled in. So you basically breed yourself out. So that's why they keep saying POC, people of color. That's why they keep saying that.
And then they also know that the quote unquote hood doesn't have to be sustained anymore. That's why you think black folks are doing nowadays, man, with all these gas prices and food prices going up. The crime is going up in these places, man. Our people are killing each other in these inner cities, and it's not. Malcolm X said if you put two rats in a cage and you don't feed them, they will kill each other.
Yeah,
you understand?
Yeah, they will.
So when it's all said and done, you put people in a condition of poverty. Wow. You put them in that condition. and you lock them in that environment where they're suffering to eat and survive, they will destroy each other. You know, and so that's what we see going on, something that was prevented in the past, because at least we were politically viable, where a certain party knew that we were going to give them a vote that would keep them in those offices so they can continue to get that corporate money to sell out the average taxpayer in the country, to sell the average taxpayer under the to sell them out to the corporations. But now they don't need us anymore. Joe Biden, I don't even think he stopped to use the bathroom, man. When he got inaugurated, I don't think he left the ceremony and stopped using it. He went straight to the Oval Office and signed that executive order to get them 11 million illegal immigrants legalized, bro.
It's a whole new voting class,
a whole new voting block.
Yeah. And then he pulled Al Sharpton and all them together and let them know, hey, if you want to have anything from here on out, you're gonna have to get behind the Mexicans.
Yeah, you heard Al Sharpton spoke to
all
that
he says
about
now is people of color.
About Buffalo, yeah.
All he says is people of color.
Hey,
exactly.
Go ahead, Champion Hart. Go ahead, Champ.
Man, y'all cooking tonight. God damn. All right, can you hear me?
Well, we can't cook like you, Champ. Go ahead and cook.
Yeah, man, y'all definitely cooking tonight, man. I was, I'm out here on this road, and I'm just listening to you brothers cook, man. Salute, Mike Fuller, man. You dropping some gems. KP, man, you've definitely been dropping some gems, man. I didn't catch who the caller was, but you all are definitely cooking tonight. You know, one thing that I'll say, I have gotten away from that. We can't accept that the language is key, and that's what they use to trap us, to get us with the language, to people of color and black and brown. We got to stop using that, because Dr. Henry Clark said himself, we don't have any allies. You know, and that's what we have to. That's what we have to understand. You know, this is one reason why, you know, I tell brothers, you know, the information that that Tariq has put out here with his Hidden Color films, man, has really opened my eyes on a lot of things that I didn't know what was going on. You know, regardless to what, you know, his hustle is this, his hustle is that, that's all good and cool, but you cannot deny that the documentaries that he has put out is very informative and has put me on to a lot of people that I wasn't aware of. You know, this is because of those documentaries. I've been studying Anthony Broder, Dr. Henry Clark, Dr. Claude Anderson, Francis Cress Welsing, you know, and many others, man. And the things that the literature that they have put out there, Dr. Claude Anderson has been telling us for over 40 years, man, that if we do not practice group economics, man, we are done. Yep. And the problem is, it's not enough of us listening collectively. You know, yeah, you have pockets of us that understand this and that are doing it. There was actually a group of black people who actually bought, I think it was how many acres of land?
11 or 9, 93.
Yeah, 93 acres of land. They understand. You know what I'm saying? That you know, it's time to practice group economics, man, to try and fix our situation. And Michael, you said it, you know, tonight, man. We're going to have to save ourselves, and that's the only way. But the problem with us is because we've been taught to hate ourselves. We don't know who we are, and there's always an argument of the transatlantic slave trade. We were brought over here. We were already here. You know what I'm saying? It's always that back and forth. You know, at the end of the day, you know, it's still, we gotta practice group economics. You know what I'm saying? And the whole thing with the I say all the time that our women have been compromised, you know, and we have fallen prey to this gender divide, and we got to understand that we're in this together.
Yeah,
you know, But because our women have been compromised and we fall into this gender divide, divide is making the fight even harder. You know. But
hey, champion,
yeah.
Just on the point you just made, another angle to look at that reality or that phenomenon is the gender divide is promoted by the powers that be because they understand that the only solution for the Black community is the unity of the Black family with the proper structure. Right. That's the only solution, right? Right. But here's the other side of that. If we have our women raising these children, what they will not breed in them is something other than a submissive spirit, because that's a woman's. Women can be loud and boisterous, but at the end of the day, their nature is submission.
Right.
Whether they submit to a man that's in their life or submit to a system of white supremacy, they will submit to something.
Yes, because
they are. You understand? They have that within their DNA. Right. Okay.
Because hey Mike, I'm gonna make this point. I'm gonna let you finish.
Hold on. Let me finish this up real quick. So what they're gonna breed into the children, both male and female, especially men, the male children, at just at a natural mother's instinct to protect them, is a spirit of submission, not a spirit of a warrior that will fight against those things that are wrong, but a spirit that will submit to it and be emotionally driven. And you can't. That's the other side of that. That's the other side.
That is. That's exactly it. That's
so
exactly
women
it,
breed submissive men.
Yes, that is correct.
Yes, that is correct. That is correct. Driven, because you take away his warrior spirit. He's never taught.
Emotionally driven. Submissive men that will not stand up against the system of white supremacy.
Okay, I give you another example, another movie reference. You remember 300, when it was a certain time for the boys to become men, they went off to hunt. Remember, the boy had to hunt that wolf. He had to go kill that wolf. That signified the boy becoming a man.
Yep.
We have no rites of passage in this culture, bro. The rites of passage for Black culture is for you to kill another Black man.
Wow.
Say that
That's
again.
the rites of passage.
Wow.
The rites of passage in Black culture is for you to kill another Black man.
Wow.
Go back to your boys in the hood. Go back to your Nipsey. Go back to your Nipsey Hussle. Go back to your Nipsey Hussle, your Mo 3, every rapper you want to name, Tupac, Biggie. Go ahead. Just tell me if that's not it. And the people that quote unquote killed them were considered to be the men, but the men were never arrested for the crimes that they committed in the culture.
So rite of passage is masculinity. Is that a synonym for masculinity? True man.
In this culture, yes, because even the people in the gynocracy praises that for the men to do that. Because if the men do that, they get rewarded sexually.
Wow.
That is the culture that's been created. That has been the culture that's been created over the last 40, 50 years. You know, they can really, that's a created culture. That's not something we always had.
That's true. I'm sorry, Fred. Go ahead.
No, someone wants to come in. I'll let them come in and speak. Hopefully, it's a real person. I'm gonna keep my hand on the trigger. Go ahead, Battle.
Yeah, I'm a real person. What's up,
Barbershop? All right, go ahead. All right, what's up, man? Go
ahead. Yeah, I'm just listening to you guys, and I kind of wanted to give some thoughts on the. I want to talk both subjects. I want to talk about the Rollie thing too, but we can talk about this first since it's the topic of discussion at hand. But honestly, I think, me personally, if I were to just give my opinion, I think if anything, as far as our culture, as far as Black people, I think if anything, I would really love to see us just, of course, first things first, I want to see us come together, be in a sense where our culture is not considered one where, like the guy in the right just said, where we just have to basically destroy each other, or in a sense that basically we are just so competitive with each other that we don't feel like we can helping hand. And that's always what I really wanted. So I think if anything, I think I see certain stuff where I can, do better. Certain stuff my brothers and sisters can do better. Certain stuff my friends can do better. And I just want to improve on that. So I kind of wanted to listen to what you guys say about it.
One thing I respect about the Haitian 1804 revolt, revolt was that they knew in order to do what they needed to do that they couldn't argue over politics. They couldn't argue over religion. They had to collectively get on code in order for this revolt to be successful. And that's the type of mentality. I say it all the time, mentality. The mindset, you know what I'm saying? That's the type of code we're going to have to get on. Simple as that.
Yep. I agree. 100%. So what do you, how old are you, Battle? How old are you?
25.
Okay. All right. So you want to know thoughts about what you just said?
Yeah, I mean, you guys, I'm kind of piggybacking off y'all. Let's know what you guys have to think, what you guys think can help us improve ourselves, I guess you say,
well, I think,
go ahead.
I agree. I think that, as far as our mental disposition towards one another, how we view one another, I think you're on point. But how we view our situation, I think we need to have more of a understanding that we are effectively prisoners of war. And I hate the reality of it. That's the reality of it, man. I mean, I hate to, but if you look, it doesn't really matter how much money you have. It doesn't really matter your education. Doesn't even matter your sacrifices for the country. I mean, if you're in black skin and you have a lineage of chattel slavery in this country, you in a bad way. You're getting treated like you get in the corporate setting. You don't get treated fairly. You get treated like crap. Not unless you're just a straight up sellout, But I mean, the bottom line, if you want to maintain any type of autonomy as a human being and your identity as a person and as a man, then you have a hard time. So as far as your approach when it comes to one another, I agree with that. But as far as your approach when it comes to dealing with this system, it's going to have to be amped up quite a bit because you're really in a war against white supremacy and against the domination of your people in all aspects of life and living.
All areas of activities. All areas of activities.
Yep.
And as the great Neela Fool once said, until you understand racism, white supremacy, everything you think you understand will only confuse you.
Wow. Nearly, man. You know what? I love that guy. Because he's cold-blooded, man. He's an individual, he's an individual think tank by himself.
Right.
By himself, man.
Right.
Yeah, awesome dude. He was a military man, right?
Yeah, he was a military man.
Yeah, so he got it from the inside out, right, left, up, right, left, right, center. What's up, Kyle?
What's going on, buddy?
Not much, man. You sitting there talking to
I ain't watched the movie yet, but I bought it. So
okay.
I didn't rent it.
Hey Fred, and Mike and Chip, I think we got to add that to the lexicon. As a black man in America, if you are to murder another black man, you are a white supremacist as well.
Dude, I said that.
Yeah.
People gave me
I agree.
pushback on that, dog. People said, how can a black man hate another black man? I got pushback on Instagram when I said that, man.
Because if I were to do that, more likely than not, I'm taking you away from your family and kids to raising in this society.
Nah, you know what they say? The white man
Now,
set us up to do
now,
it.
now, the only justification I could have for that is self-defense. But everything else, I really don't have any justification for that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because what I go back to with that sentiment is white people, the KKK was protecting their bloodline. Gangs, drugs, pimps, street dudes are killing their bloodlines. It's a big difference.
Wow.
Big difference, man. White people don't want to commute. White people don't want to engage. It was so strong that they said, you know what, Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, and it was another guy. They went and met with the KKK. They said, you stay on your side, we stay on our side. Deal. In Atlanta, when they had that meeting in Atlanta, it's they really want to protect their bloodline, man. And I think it's just very, very important that we see the biggest difference between the KKK and the Bloods and the Crips, man. The Bloods and the Crips are literally real life Satans. They are Satan and the devil in real time. It's there's no other way around it. They're the devil. But we want to emulate them. 100 million people just in America live. We're not talking about the reposts, the retweets, the international. Saw Snoop Dogg and 100 black men down there in inmate uniforms.
Yep. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Man, come on, man.
And that put this is what black people don't understand. That put us on the map and our culture on the map for annihilation, bro.
Right.
For no more oppression, annihilation, because you have now shown the world that you come from a degenerate, inhumane, immoral refuse of a culture, and that has to be exterminated.
Yeah,
that's real talk.
Yeah,
and that goes back to what I was saying earlier. That's why you see 10 black folks get killed up in Buffalo, New York, grocery shopping, and it stays on the news about a week and a half. Get a little speech, hug a black child or so. No legislation, nothing.
Right. Yeah, we need to talk about that. That's going to be Sunday's topic.
We definitely need to talk about that.
KKK versus gangs. Yeah, we're going to need to talk about that.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, Kyle goes on at 10, man. We got to wrap this up, man.
Okay.
All right, my brother.
Great, man. I appreciate y'all. I didn't anticipate to keep my mouth shut the whole night, but I didn't even appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate you, KP. Michael, you want to wrap? We'll go Battle. What's up, Battle? Go ahead, Battle.
Yeah, it's some interesting talks, like to listen to you guys. Maybe I came in a little too late. I had to come for work. So, I'll try to come in a little earlier next time.
No, that's love, man. Thank you for coming in. If I had my thing, I would push you. I would welcome you to the show, but I don't have my. But next Sunday.
Oh, no problem. You put me in the stream.
All right.
You put me in the stream. No problem.
All right. Appreciate
it.
Thank you, dog. Mr. Fuller. Thank you, dog. Thank you for spending the evening with us, dog.
I appreciate you, Fred. I appreciate you, bro. I've been like super, super busy here. In fact, I'm going to go on travel again tomorrow.
Oh, where we going?
Tomorrow afternoon, huh?
Where we going?
Nowhere. I'm just going down to take a look at a plant and see what they're doing. See what they're doing here.
Is that like a 3-day trip for you? 2-day trip?
Yeah, a couple days.
Okay, got you. Safe. You driving or flying?
No, I'm gonna. It's close enough where I can.
Okay, safe travels, dog. Safe travels.
Yeah.
Safe travel. Travel in the daytime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I don't leave, what's tomorrow? It's Friday. Oh, okay. I'll probably leave. If I don't leave, then I'll leave. Leave Monday. It just depends. And then I may not leave at all for anybody who's trying to rob me.
I got you.
Anyway,
thank you for coming on. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
That's all love, man. Yeah, Sunday show, man. Remind me, KKK versus Crips and Bloods, gangs, black gangs, pimps, players, hustlers. Dog, it's It's so important, man. We got the greatest asset to the black man is a black man, man. And how I know that is for real, Kyle. How much pussy have you turned down in your life when you were like in high school and you're a young age, just so you can just hang out with your boys? Never have? Never have? Okay. Do you
I ain't
miss
saying that with my college when I bet you do that.
do you but that camaraderie in the locker room when you played high school basketball, the camaraderie when you did wrestling,
Now
the camaraderie in boxing that you have now?
For sure, like hanging out, like I was like, oh baby, can we go hang out? And it's like, nah, and I gotta go with the team.
Mm-hmm.
Shit like that, yeah. But as far as pussy was on the table, nah. See how they say.
Well, that's what I was talking about. Like I know for a fact because I'm friends and I'm actually planning my trip now. We're doing like finally after COVID, we get to see. I ain't seen my accountability team in 2 years, so we planning that trip now. But I'm so excited to see them. Like I just can't wait to hug them and see them and see my pseudo nieces and nephews, and it's simply that important. So I
wear that mask.
I think it's just important that we
COVID is on a rise. So
I know Dre told me. Dre definitely told me. But I see it in the gym every day. Black men holding black men accountable. Throw the left hand like that, right hook. You know what I mean? Everyone's accountable to one another. There's no they may be disdain, but there's like a decorum, amongst men. What is it? One woman for 20 men in the gym when you go to the boxing gym, probably, So I see it every day. And I also see every day the demise of men, So I like that topic, man. The KKK versus gangs. I really like that topic. We're going to talk about that Sunday. We'll talk Tank Rollie. We ain't even talk about that, but yeah. Who you got in that fight before we close? And what round? Well, you got to say it, so I got to ask. I'm sorry. Rollie in what round?
Last name.
Huh?
The man with my last name.
In what round?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I ain't really dug in on it like that as far as what round. I want to see how Gervonta Davis' hand is feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the good thing is he gonna be punching up. He ain't gonna be punching down.
Yeah, he ain't never. This is his first. Well, he beat the guy he just beat in Atlanta. You were there. He beat Barrios at 140, and but he was kind of drained at 140. He was a 147 guy at that point, but they kept him down there. And also, this is his first time fighting somebody in their weight class. Keep it a buck, especially the fights that mean something. He's fighting somebody that's actually 135 pounder in their weight class. So I would put $25. I wouldn't put $100, but I would put $25 on him. I'm not going to the fight. I'm not paying for the fight. I would put $25 on him. So just because I'm not picking him, but and the guy never came back, so we don't want to hear. So I gave him a week to come in here and secure that bet. I was gonna do it on live, so he didn't come in. So I guess our bets are canceled. He just can't. He just talking shit. He just wanted to feel. He was feeling himself that night. Make it 10,000. No, let's make it 20,000. What I mean? It's like when your uncle was talking to you when you were in middle school, knowing you don't own nothing. What I mean? Make it $100. Anyways, man, I love y'all, man. I appreciate y'all coming tonight. Kyle, appreciate you. Have a great Memorial weekend, y'all. Have a great Memorial weekend. Eat lots of barbecue. Eat your barbecue. And yeah, I got one more week with this brick wall, and I'm good. One more week. 5 more shows with this brick wall.
Hey, listen. When as you remodel, I'm gonna remodel my shit too.
Oh, good. No, that's exciting. That's exciting stuff. So, yeah, I appreciate y'all coming in, man. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you, KB. Oh, man. Let's get out of there, Kyle. You got to start your show in 6 minutes.
Yeah, I'm starting. I'm going live. I'm gonna start the live right now and shit. Yeah, I'm gonna start the live now, and then you know what I mean. Press on, Fred.
Gotcha. KB, the messenger, Birdman. I appreciate y'all in the chat today too. KP, Valiant, Lewis, Third Eye, Birdman. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. And you know what? I'm kind of changing the format. I don't know if y'all noticed. I'm kind of forcing these social issues. You know what I mean? So you got to share. You got to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. I know if I talk boxing, I'll get more numbers in here. But I think these topics are more important.
Hernandez.
Thank you. I just think these topics are more important, y'all. So I'm forcing them. I'm forcing them through. I don't really care about the numbers. They're enjoyable to get, though. I'm not gonna say it and tell you they're not, but I think this is more important.
Oh, next Tuesday, Fred will be in the section, cussing niggas out.
No, next week. No, after next week. I want to be in my new studio because I can't go. I don't want to be like this. Next Tuesday.
All right.
That way I have my studio up.
Yeah.
Live from the mansion.
Rich nigga talk.
Yeah, rich nigga talk. Yeah,
Live
man.
from that state, you son of a bitch.
Believe in yourself, man. Believe in yourself. Get a teammate, man. And be happy laying that first brick. Be happy. It's a proud moment laying that first brick. You know what I mean? Lay that first brick. Don't be afraid. Tell everybody, I just laid my first brick. Yeah, man, that'll be good. And you got to watch the film, too. So that'll give you a week to watch it.
Yeah. Listen,
yeah.
I bought that shit today. I had to make sure of that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Somebody go buy the film right now, man. Go buy it, man.
Don't rent. Well, you can rent it, but nigga, buy it. Shit.
Yeah, you can rent it. You can buy it. You can do both.
So when you rent it, how long you got?
3 days. 3 days.
That's
a lot of time. That's a lot of time.
I should have rented it.
Man. I should change it to 24. Make you buy it twice. Because you're going to want to buy it. You know what I mean? You're going to. This was a good show. This was a very good show, man.
Did I miss Cooking with the Champ?
They got some intelligent people in this motherfucker, man. Damn.
We were talking about life insurance last night.
Hey, I can agree with y'all, man, when y'all said that being raised by a single mother diminishes lessons, kills your warrior spirit. You know, I see it. I definitely see it. Love y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all Sunday.